The gates are open, the army looks weak, supplies seem scattered. From the walls, everything says attack now. And that is exactly why it's a trap. Most people think deception belongs to war, politics, or manipulative people in dark rooms. But what if the most dangerous deception in your life is the one you fail to recognize because it arrives dressed as honesty, transparency, and good intentions? Sun Tzu understood something brutal. Honesty is a virtue, but strategy is survival. And if you live without disciplined strategy, you will be outplayed by people who don't. But first, let me tell you why this matters more today than ever. More than 500 years ago, in the chaos of ancient China's warring states period, kingdoms rose and collapsed on decisions made in a single night. Alliances shifted like sand. Generals were praised as sages one week and executed the next. This was not a world that rewarded naive virtue. It rewarded perception, patience, and discipline. And somewhere inside that world, a military strategist wrote a text so compact and sharp that it would outlive empires. Not because it taught people how to fight harder, but because it taught them how to think more clearly than their enemy. That strategist was Sun Tzu. His book was The Art of War *, and beneath its language of armies and terrain lies something much more personal, a philosophy of self-control. Here's the mistake people make. They treat Sun Tzu as if he only belongs on battlefields or in corporate boardrooms, but his deeper subject is discipline, the discipline to restrain impulse, the discipline to conceal weakness, the discipline to reveal only what serves the mission. That is where Sun Tzu quietly touches Stoic philosophy, not because Stoics celebrated deception for its own sake, but because both traditions understood the same thing: emotion unmanaged becomes vulnerability. In modern Stoicism, we love to talk about honesty, integrity, authenticity. Good, we should. But authenticity without judgment is just exposure. And this is where people get uncomfortable, because we've been taught that good people should always be fully transparent. Say exactly what you feel, show exactly what you plan, announce your intentions proudly. That sounds noble. It is also, sometimes, catastrophically stupid. Sun Tzu saw what most people still refuse to see. There are moments when honesty is not enough. Sometimes honesty needs protection. Sometimes truth needs timing. Sometimes discipline means not revealing your full hand. And what he wrote next changed everything. Sun Tzu's most famous line is also the doorway into all 6 principles. All warfare is based on deception. Most people hear that and think manipulation, trickery, fraud, but that is too shallow. Sun Tzu is not praising chaos. He is describing reality. Every conflict, whether military, political, social, or psychological, involves incomplete information. You never see the full map. Neither does the other side. Whoever manages perception better gains power. Now make this personal. Your life is full of conflicts that don't look like war. Job interviews, negotiations, breakups, office politics, family dynamics, competition, even your private war against distraction. In all of these, appearances matter. Not because appearances are everything, but because perception shapes behavior. Here is the deeper truth: discipline is a form of deception. Not because discipline is fake, but because disciplined people often look calm while fighting battles you cannot see. They appear patient while suppressing panic. They appear focused while resisting 10,000 impulses. They appear confident while managing fear in silence. And here's where most people get it wrong. They confuse emotional exposure with moral courage. They think if they feel something intensely, they must express it immediately. But ancient wisdom, from Sun Tzu to Stoic philosophy, teaches the opposite. Your first feeling is information. It is not a command. That matters in self-improvement more than people realize. The enemy is not always another person. Sometimes it is your own undisciplined urge to show anger, reveal insecurity, seek validation, explain yourself to people who have not earned access to your inner world. Why do so many people sabotage themselves? Because they confuse being seen with being understood. Sun Tzu gives us the first principle of deception: conceal your state. If you are strong, don't advertise it too early. If you are weak, don't panic and reveal the fracture. Protect your timing, protect your center, protect your attention. This is not a call to become cold or dishonest. It is a call to become intentional. In modern Stoicism, we often talk about self-control as if it were merely suppression. It's not. Real self-control is curation. You choose what to reveal, when to reveal it, and to whom. And here's the counterintuitive part. The most manipulated people are often the ones who pride themselves on just being real, because predictable people are easy to play. If everyone can read your temper, your fears, your habits, your cravings, your need for approval, how hard are you to control? But there's something even more shocking. Sun Tzu's next principle suggests that the first person you must stop deceiving is yourself. Sun Tzu wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." People quote this as if it's motivational wallpaper. It isn't. It's an indictment, because most people do not know themselves. They know their image. They know their preferences. They know the story they tell about themselves. But they do not know their triggers, their patterns, the habits that make them weak under pressure. This is Sun Tzu's second principle. Never let wishful thinking replace clear assessment. If you call laziness self-care, if you call avoidance peace, if you call impulsiveness authenticity, you are practicing self-deception. And self-deception is the one enemy strategy that works from inside your own walls. Here's a controversial statement, and some people will hate it. Not every truth deserves to be spoken immediately, but every weakness deserves to be examined immediately. That distinction changes everything. Honesty toward others is a virtue. Honesty toward yourself is a discipline. One is social, the other is surgical. Stoic philosophy understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote private notes not to perform wisdom, but to expose his own mind to judgment. That is the spirit Sun Tzu demands, ruthless self-knowledge without public drama. Ask yourself, what pattern keeps defeating you? Is it procrastination, the need to retaliate, the inability to remain silent, the habit of announcing goals instead of building them? Because this is where it gets interesting. Sun Tzu's discipline is not simply defensive. It becomes transformative when you use deception against your lower self. That sounds strange, but think about it. You want to build better habits, then stop negotiating with every impulse as if it deserves equal dignity. Create friction for your worst tendencies. Hide temptation from yourself. Reduce access. Change environment. Pre-commit. Put your phone in another room. Remove the app. Schedule the work before the mood arrives. This is the third principle. Shape conditions, don't merely resist them. The undisciplined person trusts willpower. The disciplined person designs the battlefield. That is ancient wisdom at its most practical. And here is what modern self-improvement often misses. You do not rise to your intentions, you sink to your systems. Your habits are a strategy. Your routines are a strategy. Your environment is a strategy. Even your silence is a strategy. So when Sun Tzu speaks of deception, he is not merely teaching you how to fool others. He is teaching you how to stop your impulses from ambushing your future. Now we arrive at the most subtle part of Sun Tzu's philosophy. He writes, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak." At first glance, this sounds purely tactical, and yes, in war it is. But in life, it becomes a discipline of strategic presence. Do not reveal your full capability before the moment requires it. Do not advertise recovery while still healing. Do not perform strength when what you need is repair. And do not confuse loudness with power. This gives us the fourth principle: understate your advantage. Some of the most effective people in any room are the least theatrical. They do not broadcast ambition, they build quietly. They don't seek admiration too early because admiration attracts resistance. The fifth principle is its mirror image. When you are weak, do not collapse into visible chaos. Weakness is real, we all have it. But ungoverned weakness invites pressure. If you're wounded, get still, get precise, preserve leverage. There is a difference between vulnerability and leakage. This is where Stoic philosophy and Sun Tzu shake hands again. The Stoics never promised a world without pain. They demanded composure inside pain, not performance. Composure, there is a world of difference. One seeks applause, the other seeks command over the self. And here's the rhetorical question that should disturb you. How much of your life have you lost because you revealed too much too early? A plan exposed before it matures gets attacked. A dream announced before it hardens becomes dependent on approval. Anger shown at the wrong moment becomes usable intelligence for your opponent. This is why discipline matters. Discipline is not just endurance, it is informational control. And now the sixth principle, the one that ties all the others together. Let timing tell the truth, not impulse, not fear, not vanity, timing. Sun Tzu also wrote, "He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight." That line is about much more than combat. It is about restraint as intelligence. Some arguments should not be entered, some explanations should not be offered, some people should not receive access to your motives, some battles are won by non-participation. This is the emotional peak, because here the entire teaching reveals itself. Deception, in Sun Tzu's deepest sense, is not permission to become false. It is a demand to become disciplined enough that truth serves wisdom rather than impulse. Honesty is still a virtue, but honesty without timing, boundaries, and self-control can become a weapon turned against you. So ask yourself, are you being honest or merely exposed? Are you being authentic or simply undisciplined? Are your habits serving your future or reporting your weaknesses to anyone willing to exploit them? That is the revelation. Sun Tzu's 6 principles of deception are really 6 principles of disciplined living. Conceal your state. Know yourself without illusion, shape conditions, understate your advantage, govern weakness, and let timing decide. This is not cynicism, it is clarity. Go back to that image from the beginning: open gates, visible weakness, the invitation to attack. The trap worked because someone misread the surface. They believed what was easiest to believe. People do that in life every day. They mistake noise for power, exposure for courage, constant expression for honesty. Don't be that easy to read, and don't be so eager to read yourself generously that you miss the cracks in your own discipline. This is where philosophy stops being abstract. This is where ancient wisdom becomes practical self-improvement. In your habits, in your reactions, in your self-control, in the moments when saying less is stronger than saying more. Try this for 7 days. Before every important conversation, every urge to react, every impulse to explain yourself, ask 3 questions. What am I feeling? What does this moment require? What is gained by waiting? Then do one more thing. Pick one habit that keeps betraying you and redesign the environment around it. Don't rely on motivation. Use strategy. If distraction wins, remove the trigger. If anger wins, create delay. If validation wins, go quiet and build in private. Come back after a week and tell me what changed. Because most people will hear Sun Tzu and think about defeating enemies. The wiser move is harder. Use his philosophy to stop being conquered by your own undisciplined mind. Discipline does not always look honest from the outside. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like disappearing long enough to become unrecognizable in your strength. Master what you reveal.